your payment plans, and the system will monitor them for you. So I'm going to actually put this patient on a payment plan. So I'm going to choose the monthly payment plan cycle. By the way, you saw this before, but not with all of the jokes. Okay, I mean, Debbie showed you this. I'm showing you the sales part of it. I'm trying to keep it lively. And I'm going to add a payment plan. So I'm going to call this monthly payments. By the way, it doesn't have to be monthly payments. You could put them on biweekly payments. The system is giving me the total amount owed. And so we have this conversation with the patient. The patient says, I'm poor, I can pay you $5 a month. $5 a month comes out to 492 payments, which I think is a bit long. It's about, what, 12 years? Something like that. You can use your bar. And I always show that. And I don't know why. This is the simplest, easiest thing to program, but the practices love it. They go, oh, wow, isn't that neat? We go, all right. Yeah. So, and I'm on purpose going to pick a weird amount just for the demo purposes. Okay. We can go 7 payments of $351.43. And they say fine. And then we go, when do you get paid? I get paid on the first of the month. And we go, fine. We want to have the payment in here and posted, because remember, we're going to check on the posting of this. So if we think it's going to take them 4 days to respond, and it takes us 3 days to get it posted, we want to have this the 8th. Right? Because that's what we're really testing on, it being posted. With me? And by the way, the system now will give me the date first payment due. What's today? The 1st? You know what? I'm going to give the patient a break. And I'm going to say, your first payment, I will allow that to be March the 8th. Because it's going to set up the 8th. It's going to set me up. Remember I said it's the 8th? All right. And I'm going to now say, okay. So what happened? I established the payment plan. I'm going to click on this and click detail. And it sets up the detail. So it's basically set up every payment. There, it's the 8th of the month. The first one's going to be on March, and this is the amount that needs to be paid as of that date. And as they pay, the status will go, as you post the payments, the status will go from open to paid. With me? Now, I'm going to, this is a different pool. I've moved her out of the initial call to patient pool into the payment plan pool. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to open up the cycle as to where this tickler is now. The tickler, by the way, is in this payment plan, and it's at this step. See, the cycle itself is the monthly payment plan cycle. That's where we moved them. We just entered the payment plan. The blue is the next step. So tonight, the system's going to send out this letter, monthly payment arrangement, or payment arrangements letter. Dear Mrs. Jones, thank you so much for speaking with our clinic today. Your delinquent balance of $2,450 has been now, we put it on the following payment plan, and it'll lay out, each day that's due and how much is due. And as I say to the prospect, I go, so that then the patient takes that, puts it on the refrigerator, and every day, when they get their juice, they look at it and they pay you on time. And they go, no, they don't. I go, or not, or they don't pay you on time. And that's why the system comes back into play, because it will actually sit at this payment plan test. It will look at the 8th of each month, in this case, because it's the 8th, and it will look to see if they paid that minimum amount. If they paid it, the system will just, you'll never hear from this patient again. I mean, it will never come up as another tickler. If they don't pay, then it will go down and it will generate this step called broken payment arrangements letter, which will say, Dear Mrs. Jones, you flake. You were supposed to pay us this. You didn't pay it. And now we want the whole thing because, you didn't honor your part of the bargain. Oh, now I'll continue working on the EMR. That was the timeout message from the EMR. Okay. And then what will happen is it will then do a delinquency test. If they did pay the whole amount, it'll remove them from collections. But if they didn't pay, which is more likely, you will get a tickler into another pool called Broken Payment Arrangements Pool. And if you take a look here, I'll exit out of here. I don't have any. But anybody that was in, if I had 5 entries or whatever in this broken payment arrangements pool, these are all people that were on a payment plan. They broke the payment plan. Yeah, but I don't have anybody in it. I see the pool. I just don't have anybody in this pool. That's where she would go. And if I had 3 people in there, they're all people at the same steps. Do you see how the collections system basically uh, gives you gives your office the organization and actually lets your collectors work in this type of I'll just say a heads down fashion. They work one pool at a time. They don't have to do any auditing. It feeds them their work. Anybody that's got any type of AR problems, and everybody has AR problems. Now we have the same types of things on the insurance side. Okay, so we have initial review pool, et cetera, et cetera. It's 5 o'clock. I could do the insurance side, or I could talk about recall. What do you want? Okay. What'd you say, John? Okay. I'll do the recall and then I'll do the HR settings. Okay. In the collection side, we had cycles and pools. On the recall side, it's also a workflow environment, okay? But we have what's called protocols and pools, and we also have something called ticklers. What I'm actually going to do is, in the collections module, I showed you the end result. I didn't show you any of the building blocks, really. I'm going to do the opposite on the recall side. I'm going to show you the building blocks and explain to you how the system works. It'll become apparent to you. So I'm going to go into protocol. I'm going to show you a protocol as a building block, and I'm going to pick 6-month abnormal PAP recheck. That's one of our recall protocols. Now over here, we have 4 steps to this protocol. Okay, and some of the steps have letters, and some of them don't have any letters. Let's take a look at this. First of all, you also notice that it's got recall days 180. Do you see this up here? So I'm going to explain you the basic philosophy behind the recall protocol. We're going to have we have a patient, and in this case they've got a abnormal pap smear, and we want to bring them back into the office 6 months from now for another pap smear, right? So we can go in, we can bring up the patient, and we can hit recall, and we can just boom, drop a tickler into this protocol. By the way, the tickler can also be generated from the EHR, from your health watcher. So if there's a 6-month abnormal PAP follow-up tickler, that can drop it in. So we can drop it in directly from the PM system, or if they're running the EHR, it can drop in from Health Watcher automatically. Backtracking a little bit, do you remember that we indicated that some Health Watcher protocols can be keyed off of like a lab result? So you can have the lab result trigger the Health Watcher, which will trigger the recall protocol. Okay, the recall system is used to generate the letters and the follow-up by your staff, not by the doctor. Okay, so I will actually tell you what happens here. Letter number 1, I need to scroll over here to show you something with these letter steps. Do you see this little column at the right here? Whoops. I can never figure out how to do this. Ugh. It says now. There's a Y in this one. So what actually happens is as soon as the tickler is put in here, the system generates this letter. And the letter says something. It's a Word document, right? That's how we do it. The letter says something like, the results of your pap smear were abnormal. Okay? Nothing to worry about, but we want you to come back in 6 months for a recheck. or it could say even a lot more. It could go